Okay, welcome to Teach Online TV. My name is Tyler Basu. I'm the content manager for Thinkific, and today I am joined by one of our customers who's right here in Vancouver, actually. So she offered to come in person and have this chat with us. Her name is Wendy Quan. She is the founder of The Calm Monkey, where she teaches mindfulness, meditation, facilitator training, and certifications. Now, you've created a couple of courses on our platform and also with a partnership with another organization as well. And we're excited to have you here and learn, why you got into creating courses, why you chose Thinkific, and what the experience has been like so far. So thank you for coming down to the office today.
Thank you, Tyler.
So I know I gave away what you do a little bit, but can you just expand on that and tell us how you got into what you're doing today? Tell us how this all came to be.
Sure, I'll give you the short version. It's a pretty long story, but basically, mindfulness meditation became a huge part of my life back in 2010 after I went through a cancer journey. And the power of mindfulness meditation is incredible, and it can really help people create a better experience of life. And when I started courses teaching people how to do mindfulness meditation, the benefit was just huge, and it was something I couldn't ignore. So I started helping organizations in Vancouver here and now worldwide introduce mindfulness programs at work using their own employees. So I was doing that in person, and there was a lot of requests for, how do we get your training, Wendy, because it's only in person right now. So that's when I decided to go online. And I was a little bit apprehensive about that initially, because I didn't know how the online experience would be for people. Would it be as effective? And would people enjoy the course that way? And I was really happy to hear that people loved it. Doing it self-paced online, and the interface with Thinkific's been amazing.
That's great. So when you were teaching in person, how long were you doing the workshops in person for before you decided to turn that into some online training?
That's a great question. I think about 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
And then I decided to go online, and I started going online with this about a year and a half ago, and I went with another platform. I didn't go with Thinkific initially. I didn't do my homework that well, and somebody had mentioned another one to me called Rizuku, so I went with that, and it was okay, but it wasn't great. And then CPHR told me about, CPHR BC is the Chartered Professionals of Human Resources in British Columbia, who I now partner with. And they told me about Thinkific, and I go, oh yeah, I remember hearing about them, and oh, they're in Vancouver, which is great. I love Vancouver companies. And I signed up for the free trial of Thinkific, and immediately it was very obvious to me how much better it was. Yeah. Many ways. I'll just say a few things about that if I may.
That's great feedback.
It was better from the user experience, better from the administration, course creator experience, but most importantly, for me, the features are great. And the startup support from Thinkific was a huge, wonderful surprise for me. Like, Thinkific really does a lot to help somebody get started, creating the course, developing their ideas, but they also kind of offer different ideas and partnering with other companies to bring you knowledge and learning about marketing your course. And that's what I really needed for me. And anyway, I just thought the whole experience was good.
So was there anything that you couldn't do on Rizuku that made you want to switch to a different platform?
Yeah, well, I just think, it was the overall user experience and the professionalism that the person was experiencing. I thought that was really key.
Okay.
And the other sort of more technical things is the customizable nature of Thinkific was like worlds above Rizuku. Rizuku was, you could change a few things, but you couldn't control many things about the font or the colors of the background. The landing pages, hugely different. So I really like the landing pages in Thinkific.
What was your experience of moving your content over? Because we've got a lot of people who are taking a look at Thinkific, they have a course somewhere else, and so for them they have to transfer their content and sometimes even transfer their students as well. So do you remember what that process was like for you? Was it easy? Was it slow? Was there any struggles that came up? Just tell us about what that was like.
Yeah, I was a little apprehensive about that, but it wasn't that bad at all. I was surprised how quickly I could do it. Basically, moving the content, what I did is I had all of my content in a Word document that was also, of course, on Rizuku, the platform I was moving away from. And all I did is just copied and pasted from my Word document to Thinkific.
So these are text lessons.
Text.
Got it.
Well, text, and then it was really easy to pop in the videos and audios and other multimedia that I use. Because once it's in there, once it's in Thinkific, the interface for editing is super easy. It didn't take much time at all.
Now I'd like to learn a bit more about your process for actually creating your online training, because you do teach people offline as well. So how did you make some of the decisions around the type of content you were going to create in your online course, and how did you approach that? Like, are these live videos? Are you recording your screen? Are you offering audio or text or slides? Like, what kind of content are you putting in your course, and why did you choose that type of content?
I include everything you just said.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because I think the experience for the person needs to be interesting. If they're just reading text, that's not good in my opinion. So I intermix the modules of video, sometimes audio only. Sometimes they're reading the text and then they can play an audio while they're reading the text. I just think it needs to be as interactive as possible. I use the quizzes as well.
Now, many of our customers, they create a course, but then they don't know how to go and find students or do any marketing for their course. And one approach that you've taken is the partnership approach. And this is something that we encourage our customers to do, especially if they don't yet have an audience or an email list or something like that to promote their course to. They can simply go and find a person or an organization that does, and create a joint venture or create a partnership. So I'm just curious, how did the partnership that you're a part of come to be, and how do you advise somebody who has a course and wants to partner up with somebody? How can they approach that? How can they make it a win-win for the partner that they're working with?
I think if you start talking and you can find a common ground and a common goal, and with CPHR and I, it was really very obvious, because a lot of the people that contact me who are interested in introducing mindfulness into the workplace and training their own employees to be facilitators are HR type people. So it was really obvious. I already had a bit of a connection with CPHR, and we talked. It was Erica Franken who I talked to, and we just right away it's like, yeah, why wouldn't we do this? Because HR people need to understand the importance of mindfulness and how to introduce it in their company, and CPHR wanted to offer more innovative opportunities and training opportunities. So just coming together. Now we're both, CPHR and I are both using Thinkific, so it's really easy. I just took my course on Thinkific, and a copy of it was made onto the Thinkific CPHR platform, and then I have access to change my content whenever I need to. It's really simple.
So you're somebody who switched from teaching, or if you've previously been teaching offline, workshops, seminars, and so on, and now you've made the transition into also teaching online. What kind of impact has that had on your life, on your business, on now having some online training to offer people as well?
Oh, great question. A lot of positive impact, because before that, companies would say, oh, can you come to Baltimore? Can you come to Louisiana and train us? And I'm only one person. I'm a sole proprietor, and obviously you just can't be everywhere. And then sometimes it didn't make sense for me to travel and go to a company if they only had like 1 or 2 people to train. It just wasn't cost effective for them, of course. So going online reduced my travel, and it makes the training opportunity available to individuals and organizations around the world, because it's on demand. So if, let's say I even did an in-person workshop, but one person missed it, then that person can take the online version. And just around the world, one of my clients is the government of Dubai, on the other side of the world, and they took the online version. Yeah.
So you've got more scale now. You can serve a lot more people.
Less travel. People love the course. I'm happy to say that 100% of the people who have taken the online course say that they feel equipped to be a facilitator after taking the course, and 100% of the people said they would recommend it to other people. And I'm just thrilled with that.
That's great feedback.
Yeah.
So do you know, if we could unpack that a little bit, what do you think you did right? Because a lot of people create a course and then their students either they don't go through it, they don't finish it, they don't have positive feedback.
Right.
Based on the feedback you've received,
Okay.
what are some of the things that you were most complimented for that?
Okay, good question. So the course itself for me was already solid because I was teaching it in person for a number of years. So I really knew what content worked. Okay. So I knew what to put into the online course. I basically duplicated all of that online. But again, it was a mix of video and audio and text and PowerPoint slides, downloadable documents, that kind of thing. Okay, so it wasn't just like a 10-hour video. Okay, it's got to be multimedia, I think is really effective. The other thing I want to mention that I just remembered that I think what made it really successful is once I created the course, I really got a number of people to validate the course for me. The validation piece is really important. So people who will give you really honest feedback, not just, oh, it was great, but here's what I liked and here's what I didn't like, and this video is too dark or anything like that. So I made sure it was really solid and professional before I opened it up to the public.
Okay, no, that's a great approach.
Yeah.
Did you elicit that feedback in any way? And if so, how did you do it? Or did it just come to you naturally?
The feedback?
Yeah.
Oh, I asked people that I knew.
Okay.
Yeah, and I went back to past students too that had taken my course in person, and I said, would you look at this online and tell me if you think it's just as effective? And they did, so.
Okay,
yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
Are there any ways that you've kind of been able to take the engagement or the interaction that happens between a student and a teacher in an offline setting? Have you been able to move any of that online? Like, have you got discussions happening, or do your students have the option to email you or contact you, or do you have a group set up? Anything to facilitate communication between your students?
So they always have access to me through email.
Okay.
And what also, I'm still learning to make this successful, and I think I've got it now. I started a closed Facebook group for the people who are graduates of my course.
Okay.
And that's an online community of practice where they can, of course, ask each other questions. But what I'm finding is that people were kind of apprehensive to contribute. And what I found from there is I just kept offering content, like new meditation scripts, new mini lessons. Now, some of that was on Facebook Live or through documents, and they love that now. So it's more, the community is more active. So again, the video live component has really made it shoot through the roof.
Okay, yeah, that's a great approach.
Okay.
One last question for you.
Yeah.
If somebody is teaching, whether online or offline, and they're considering using Thinkific to host their courses, is there anything that you can say to them to encourage them to use the platform?
Oh, yeah. Use Thinkific. I love it. I have an IT background, by the way.
Okay.
So I started my career in IT, and I'm a really good judge of technology. I know when technology is solid, and it's a solid platform. There's a lot of thought from Thinkific to the experience of the course creator and of the end user, and it's easy to navigate. Like, you've used terminology that makes sense to people, and when you introduce a new feature, you introduce it really quickly, and it's really obvious and easy to understand. And all that support to help somebody get started in terms of getting your idea clear, getting your course started, and marketing it and getting it out there. All of that from end to end, I'm just so impressed. That's why I wanted to do this testimonial for you, because I'm really impressed. Like, honestly, I love the platform.
Perfect. Well, Wendy, thank you so much for taking the time to visit us, to share a little bit about your journey with teaching online and your experience with Thinkific. We really appreciate it. Okay. And of course, we're here to help. However we can, just let us know.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.